How do you go back to sleep if, for some reason, you wake up between 2 o'clock and 3 a.m. in the middle of the night? I would consider myself an expert at insomnia because I dealt with it for over a decade and it was destroying my life. It wasn't just getting up at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I wouldn't even sleep for 1 minute the entire night. I would just lay there. It was basically torture. What's unique about 2 a.m. is something called the circadian rhythm, which is related to cortisol, a stress hormone. Cortisol should be at its lowest point in this rhythm at 2 a.m. and at its highest point at 8 a.m. For me, everything was backwards. I was very awake at 2 a.m., but extremely tired at 8 a.m. in the morning. I tried everything, even prescription medications, but nothing worked. In fact, what I didn't know at the time was that those medications actually worsened my cortisol levels. They raised it. One thing that helped me was magnesium. Magnesium has the ability to lower cortisol, and if you're deficient in magnesium, your cortisol can actually go up. Also, if you're sitting there watching this and you have any tightness in your muscles, whether in your upper back, lower back, or if you point your toe and it cramps, that's a clear sign that you're deficient in magnesium. The type of magnesium I would recommend is magnesium glycinate. It can help relax your muscles and reduce cortisol. The best time to take it is at night, before you go to bed. Around 6 a.m., you typically had the least amount of magnesium in your tissues. This is probably why a lot of health problems occur in the early morning, such as heart attacks, strokes, and restless leg syndrome, as many of these issues are influenced by magnesium. One most indication of magnesium deficiency is twitching. If you experience twitching under your eye or in your arm, that's a clear sign you're deficient in magnesium. Magnesium controls calcium, and when you don't have enough magnesium, you get more calcium, which causes cramping in various parts of your body. Another thing that can raise cortisol at 2 a.m. is low blood sugar. For example, if your diet is high in carbohydrates, it may raise your blood sugar levels, that when you sleep, your blood sugar drops. When your blood sugar gets too low, your body raises it again, but it does so by releasing cortisol. We've already talked about magnesium deficiency, and by the way, eating a lot of carbohydrates and starches can create a magnesium deficiency. But if you're eating sugar in general, you're going to have a blood sugar issue, which will affect cortisol and wake you up in the middle of the night. If you're waking up at 2 a.m., here are a few tips to improve your sleep. Evaluate what you ate the day before. Did you consume refined starches? Did you eat out at a restaurant? Did they give you something with MSG, which can also affect your blood sugar? Also, alcohol is something you should be cautious about. While it might make you feel like you're sleeping, it doesn't allow you to sleep deeply, and you'll likely wake up at 2 o'clock or even 3 a.m. A late night snack can raise your blood sugar, and it tends to come down around 2 a.m., which may keep you up. This is why it's important not to snack after 6:30 p.m. For example, if you eat very late at night, especially a lot of protein, it can stimulate your body and disrupt your sleep. In fact, one thing that works really well for my sleep is having my last meal earlier in the afternoon and not eating after that. If I avoid eating too late, I sleep a lot better. Another thing to consider is salt and sleep. Let's say you crave salty chips at night. The reason people often crave salt is due to a deficiency in sodium. Sodium helps lower cortisol, and when you're deficient in sodium or not consuming enough salt, your cortisol levels can rise. To address this, try adding more sea salt to your meals throughout the day. By doing this, you might find that you no longer crave salt at night. Another factor that can raise cortisol levels is watching a suspenseful or action-packed movie before bed. That's why I prefer watching boring movies or something lighthearted in the evening. If I watch something too exciting, I have a harder time falling asleep. It's also important to avoid blue light from your phone or computer before bed because blue light interferes with melatonin production, which helps you wind down and sleep. To increase melatonin production naturally, try getting enough sun exposure during the day. More sunlight helps you sleep better at night. Additionally, infrared light from sources like sunlight, fire, or even candles can also increase melatonin production in your cells. If you're deficient in vitamin B1, thiamine, it can leave you with excess energy because your body has a higher energy capacity. This can make it difficult to relax and sleep. If you don't exercise, you might find it even harder to sleep. I highly recommend taking long walks or doing some form of exercise that helps tire your body out. I personally need to work out to get rid of excess energy. Another thing that could affect your sleep between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. is something related to liver health. The liver detoxifies between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. If you're drinking alcohol or taking medications that the liver is working to process, it could disrupt your sleep. To help with this, try taking milk thistle before bed, as it's great for liver health. Restless leg syndrome is another issue that can affect sleep, and it's often associated with B1 or magnesium deficiency, often due to excessive carb consumption. If you address these deficiencies, restless legs should improve. If easy to fix, just start consuming natural sources of B1 and magnesium before bed. Check your pulse rate too. If your pulse is too high, it could be due to a potassium deficiency, which may result from consuming too many carbs. I remember one time when I had trouble sleeping, I felt a pounding sensation in my chest and checked my pulse rate. It was rapid. This can happen when you have low potassium or your body's pH is too acidic. In the past, I would sometimes drink too much kombucha tea or apple cider vinegar before bed, which could acidify my body. This was a problem for me. For some people, drinking apple cider vinegar, diluted, can help, but it also helps to stabilize blood sugar levels throughout the night. If you suspect blood sugar issues, apple cider vinegar before bed is beneficial. It can also help with mineral absorption. If none of these solutions work and you find yourself awake for a long period, try reading a book, nothing too exciting, until you feel tired and fall asleep. The next day, I recommend going for a long walk, not to raise your pulse, but to get plenty of oxygen and help your body drain excess cortisol and adrenaline. Go ahead and try these strategies and let me know in the comments how they've helped you.